Ha ha! What's happening, everybody? Yours truly here. Thank you so much. It's yours truly, Xavier Smith, aka Mr. XL Smith, aka Coach X. Yeah, I've got all the aliases, but I only have one mission. I've been sent here to impact, inspire, and improve the lives of others. And today is no different. I got somebody who's going to be joining me to do just that with me. So let me just give you a little brief intro. If you are into living a pain-free life, if you've got pain, whether it's chronic or acute, and you're looking for a solution that you don't have to go under the knife or take medications for, well, I've got something for you. So if you're into that, I'm going to be talking to this gentleman over here. His name is Perry, and we're going to be talking about, we're just going to have a conversation of excellence. So if you're into that, here's what I want you to do. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Hey, what's happening, guys? I am broadcasting simultaneously onto YouTube and onto Facebook. So if you are watching on either of those channels, welcome. I'm Xavier Smith, and today, as promised, every time that I come out, my intent and promise is to do something that's going to help impact your life in a positive way. Hopefully do something that will inspire you to hire. And if I've done it right, it's going to help you improve your life. And that is our intent today. This guy that you're looking at on the screen, his name is Perry. Perry, I want to just give you a brief moment just to kind of tell us who you are, what you represent, and then we're going to talk a little bit about that background. So the time is yours, my friend.
Thank you, Coach X. My name's Perry Kamel. I'm the founder and CEO of a company called DNA Vibe. It's a very advanced technology to really help people live a more full life, do more of what they love at a higher level. I've been building companies, driving innovations for 35 years, and this is probably the most exciting and important one that I've ever been involved in.
Awesome. That's awesome. I'm going to get rid of this moniker right here so we can have a little bit more time and freedom. So Perry, you've been driving innovation for over 30 years.
That's right.
And I believe we have something in common. Tell us a little bit about your veteran status.
Yeah, well, I am a veteran.
What branch did you serve in?
Didn't see that coming, but I served proudly as a U.S. Navy officer. I was commissioned by Ronald Reagan.
Wow.
Put a date stamp on me. Some in our generation might remember the old 600 ship buildup. And I was drawn into that. I served for about 5 years. I call them my Forrest Gump years because I was blessed to see so many amazing things during that time. It was a very active period. And it culminated with the fall of the Berlin Wall. And I was there when the wall came down.
Wow.
And I'll never forget the sight of women holding babies over their heads and chanting and cheering when the wall came down. It was quite a moment.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Well, I appreciate you and thank you so much for your service. I went to through the Air Force for about 10 years. So I know what it feels like to, fight for the good fight. So I appreciate your service there.
The Air Force is where they send all the smart people.
Hey, I barely made it in by the skin of my teeth, so I totally can feel you on that level. So tell us a little bit more about this fun that you're having right now at this hot little minute. Talk a little bit more about the DNA Vibe. What brings you so much joy when it comes to that?
Well, DNA Vibe's technology is really focused on bringing together the most advanced technologies to help people recover more quickly, more fully, perform at a higher level, and just live a healthier, more full life. My partner and I have been working on this for about 4 years. He's a professor of genomics and molecular biology. So super nerd. And I can get a bit nerdy too. In my background, I have particle and optical physics. engineering, MBA, have built a lot of innovative companies. And he and I got together and said, look, there's got to be a better way. We've heard of light therapies for the last 55 years, but nobody really fully appreciates how they work, why they work. And together we've cracked that code. We've built a technology. It's a multi-mode technology with red light, near infrared, magnetic pulse, and microvibration. It's a wearable device. There it is.
Yeah.
It's a wearable, flexible, versatile device. You can put that on and wrap it around anywhere you crave relief: your neck, your knees, your elbows, your back, your hips, ankles. And, it does do amazing things. 97% of our customers report positive results. Probably the most, you asked me about fun. I'll tell you what, we get stories every day about people whose lives have been changed for the better.
Love that.
There is nothing more rewarding than that. We hear stories, whether it's a young athlete who was sidelined and able to get back into the game they love, some professional athlete who thought they were approaching the end of their career, but they're able to keep doubling down and perform even better, recover more quickly. We have an Olympic hopeful who was, after a life of dreaming of being in the Olympics, sidelined by an ankle injury, and used the DNA Vibe, and she's back on the ice and looking forward to Beijing. We've got grandmothers who had lost heart in their ability to keep up with their grandkids, who have used DNA Vibe, and they're able to live more fully, play more fully with their grandkids. We've got stories of elderly couples in bedridden, unable to get out and move because of shingles and other complexities, who have been able to come back out and rejoin society. I can't even tell you, like the number of stories we get is just so astounding. And it's energizing beyond words. Our entire company culture is based on helping people live a better life. And when we get those stories, it really puts a bounce in our step every day. Call that fun, I don't know, but I'll tell you what, nothing feels better, right?
Right. That's awesome. I love that. And I want to go deeper with that. But before we get into the deeper dive with this, take a moment to take us on a tour of that background. Because you mentioned fun. I'm looking at the superheroes in your background, and let's speak a little bit about the culture that you guys have formed at your company.
Yeah, so a lot of people in the age of Zoom have digital backgrounds. This is just one of our conference rooms.
Wow.
Kind of get a sense for it's a full wall-to-wall, floor-to-ceiling.
Yeah.
This is reflecting maybe the inner child, right? But our other conference room is a Guardians of the Galaxy conference room. I mean, most people walk into DNA Vibe and they realize there's something very different about this company. We are not a corporate suit and tie, stiff, even some of the more advanced Silicon Valley tech companies try to have fun, but it's a little staged. I mean, we are just free flowing. And Xavier, we as a company, we like to say we have 3 pillars of our purpose.
Okay, good.
And I'll quickly touch on that because I think, the mural behind me exemplifies our 3rd pillar.
Okay.
And I'll try to be quick, but our first pillar is to focus exclusively on products and technologies that lift people up and help unlock their full potential to live a better life.
Oh, nice.
That's our first pillar, right? And bar none, that just gives us so much energy and inspiration each and every day. Our second pillar, which some people have said may even be more exciting. I know. Our second pillar is actually a manufacturing model that really turns the historic paradigm on its head. So for the history buffs out there, for about 190 years, the Industrial Revolution has been driving bigger and bigger factories in fewer and fewer locations. And in the name of scale efficiency, the bigger the factory, the more units you can run through it, the lower the unit cost. And so we end up where we are today, where within China and Shanghai in particular, and Taiwan, and some other select markets, you've got these massive, massive industrial factories building products like this.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's a bit of a simplification, but it's kind of like all products built in one place and then shipped to all other places around the world, all because it reduces unit cost. Well, we looked at that several years ago and thought, my goodness, there's got to be a better model. What about, instead of building one big factory shipping everywhere, what if we built a factory in every community and shipped nowhere, right? Crazy, like that's crazy. We call the concept mesh manufacturing. We have actually proven it out successfully already. So what we call a LAMP, a local advanced manufacturing pod, is a hyper intelligent micro manufacturing center that you could literally put in a 40-foot shipping container. And it has the technology and the capacity to generate anywhere from 10 to 20,000 units per month. That's not bad.
Wow.
Now, a micro center will never do the volume of a large mega factory in Asia, but if you string 1,000 of them together, wherever we develop demand for our products and technologies, instead of shipping from Asia to that market, we'll drop ship a factory into that market, teach the locals how to make their own products, invite them to be a part of the creative process.
Oh my gosh.
Interconnecting all of these micro manufacturing centers, building a mesh that's intelligent, that's resilient, that can share demand signals, that can share inventory, that can share designs and knowledge and so forth. So it's a very different paradigm. We're very excited about it. We think it's going to catch hold. It already is.
Yeah.
Companies coming to us all the time looking for help with that kind of stuff. So the LAMP is kind of our second pillar of purpose. When we manufacture our products, we're not just made in the USA, we're made in your neighborhood, right? That's the vision we have.
Yes.
Why does that matter, Coach X? Well, when products are made in one place and shipped everywhere else, we're literally stripping economic value out of local communities and depriving those communities from participating in their God-given creative process. They don't get to imagine and dream and develop and introduce new products. So we think that that has some very tangible negative consequences, and we're seeing that today.
For sure.
Concentration of wealth and control over technology. So our vision is to empower local communities economically, but also through creative participation and design and dreaming up and building their own products. So we're very, very excited about that. That's our second pillar. And our third pillar is our culture. And this gets back to the mural behind me.
Nice.
You know, like I said, I've been building companies, some big ones like Siemens, and some of the largest companies we know. Accenture Digital, I was one of the co-founders, and I've been in corporate America, and I can tell you, and most people who watch this, if they've got a corporate job, will probably be agreeing with me. Sadly, most people working in corporate America are not thrilled going to work each and every day. Let's face it, right?
Yes.
For too many, it's a drudgery. And we are very intentional at DNA Vibe of creating a very different cultural model. We want every single person, no matter what your role, no matter what your contribution or where you're sitting or hanging your hat, we want every single person to be respected, empowered, edified, uplifted. We want them to be energized by a sense of purpose that's life-changing. And and we're dead serious about that. These aren't just concepts. It's reflected in how we interact with each other. It's reflected in how we engage with our partners. It's reflected in the priorities and values we live by each and every day. And as you can see, it's reflected in our murals. We want an environment that's energizing, fun, respectful, and life-giving. And I'll tell you what, our team is amazing. Yeah. And when people operate each and every day, they're excited to come to work. They're excited to be part of something special. Everybody knows and lives our other purposes, right?
Right.
And it makes for a very dynamic and exciting environment. We want other companies to learn that you can actually be more successful in business if you learn how to lead people instead of just manage numbers, right? That's what it comes down to.
Yes. Love this, man. I love this. I feel like on just a visceral level that everything that you have just spoken is what I've been living and marching towards ever since I got serious about my mission, impacting, inspiring, improving. And now things like this, it's just so funny how life begins to reveal to you and unfold in such a divine manner as to me and you having a conversation based off of a product that I totally was skeptical about it at first, let's be honest, but was willing to say, why not? And now we got a conversation going on like this. This is what we call a conversation of excellence. I love that. You know what, Perry, before we go any further, I got one comment that just came in. Sonia Vasquez. Hello, champ. Thank you for commenting. She says, lead people, not just manage people. Yes, yes, yes. We were high school classmates. So I appreciate you stepping in and adding your voice to the conversation. I appreciate that. Yes, that's totally right. So now let's dive a little bit deeper, Perry. I heard you say a few things that totally resonate with me. We talked a bit about the leadership. Where do you see this growing to in, say, 5 years from now?
Wow, we're pretty motivated. We see this becoming a pretty significant undertaking. There are, according to NIH and World Health Organization data, 3.3 billion people on planet Earth suffer from chronic pain and debilitating and recurring pain to the extent that it undermines the quality of their life. Right? Yeah. 3.3 billion. That's half of humanity.
Right.
And I'm one of them. I mean, look, I love to play tennis. I love to jog. I love to do these things. But when, your body starts breaking down under, time and gravity, time, gravity, and activity at some point gets to all of us. Right. That's a very, very large market of people who can use help, of people who unnecessarily are limited in the degree to which they can enjoy different activities or hobbies that they love. People who might have had to give up tennis or golf sooner than they might otherwise have, or play less than they'd like. Grandmothers who don't feel active with their grandkids and would like to, or grandfathers as well. Or maybe it's just, we've got a lot of top undefeated MMA fighters who are among our ranks, who use our device and who love it. We have a saying, it's like, your life may not be a cage match, but it sometimes may feel like one, right? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how old or young you are. I mean, we all got to deal with that. So, we see this as a company that wants to mainstream advanced technologies to really help revolutionize the way we deal with recovery and wellness.
Right.
So that we can do more of what we love at a higher level for a longer time. We say, we got a lot of nerdy catchphrases, like we want to make the world a better place, one better life at a time. Yeah. And it may sound a little corny, but, we live those words every day. We're so committed to that concept that we offer a guarantee. If somebody buys and tries the jazz band and it doesn't help them, we give them a money back. I mean, because we care about helping people, why would we want to keep money if we can't be helpful, right? That clashes with our values. And so fortunately, very, very few people return it because most people find that it helps. I hope you found that it helps, right?
Oh yeah. You see, I still got mine. I'm using this for demonstration purposes, but folks, this is the real deal. We're going to get into a conversation, maybe not today, but hopefully, Perry, if you're open to it, we can turn this into a recurring thing. I can take some questions from the general public, but let me just tell you my story. I'll give you the quick, short version. I had a heart attack when I was 29. That was 20 years ago. That is one of the incidents that kind of got me to do some soul searching and find out why me and why now. And that's the moment I decided to take personal responsibility for my life, because up until that point, I was doing this. I was blaming others. mainly my parental units. And I had to get to a place where now my saying is, if I want to live, I've got to forgive. I got on the phone, called my parents, let them off the hook. And ever since that moment, my life changed and I was ready to do the work. Then I got into studying how I got myself in that place in the first place. And a lot of it was due to me and my my food choices. So long story short, I got that better, started diving into blood type and, doing things that I was supposed to be doing. I knew I wasn't doing. And then I wanted to start diving into therapies and finding out how can I get off the mainstream track of medication for the rest of my life when there's something out there that has to be better. Then I started finding out things like this, kept an open mind, and an even bigger heart. And lo and behold, here we are having this conversation. I'm a big fan. I want to join you right here in a public space and let you know I'm putting both my hands up in service and in collaboration to see what we can do together in my neck of the woods to bring healing to the masses. And it's funny you spoke about culture, Perry, because I just now started forming it's a real small private group because I do physical training as well. And what I'm trying to do is make myself available to more than one person at a time. And so this group is really starting to take off, and they allow me to pour into them, whether it's positive motivational videos that I find. I get to curate this good, positive, pure positive energy, and they are receiving it. And we're growing, we're having conversations, we're reading books, we're doing the right things, and then the right things start to happen. So I'm here to tell you that I'm definitely on board with you in anything that you got going on. I say yes and march forward with you on that. I got your site pulled up. Let's do a little investigation. And we're going to share our screen real quick. Hold on. There it is. This is the DNA Vibe website. We're talking about wearable pain relief and recovery. And you just heard from the man himself. These guys offer a money back guarantee. So let's talk a little bit. We're going to go through the website. Sydney, I love Sydney. She is so full of energy and good vibes. So you guys are on the right track. Now we're going into this is your, I think he's a Bellator heavyweight champion.
Undefeated, up and comer,
Wow.
One of the most amazing athletes and heart of gold.
Wow.
His presence inside and outside of the ring could not be more different. Inside the ring, he's an absolute monster. Outside, he's the most loving, kind, gentle giant I've ever known.
Love that. And he's a user of the DNA jazz band, obviously.
Yes.
So this is good stuff. What I wanted
Rob Cohn, I gotta point out Rob Cohn. There's a video there.
Okay.
Rob Cohn is arguably the most dominant professional skier in over 50 years. He's won 7 of the last 8 world pro ski tour events. He's just a skiing phenom. He was in the finals in one of the world pro ski tours out here in Colorado, injured his back coming out of the gates, and was considered to be out of the competition. He went and used his DNA Vibe for about 2.5 hours. Not only was he able to come back unexpectedly, but he won the entire event. And then from the podium, he attributed his success to DNA Vibe. It's a great video.
That's awesome. Is it in this video?
It is.
Oh man, let's take a look at this real quick.
On race day, I creaked my back so bad that I couldn't ski. Everyone seemed to count me out. I went off to use my DNA Vibe to help me ease the pain, loosen up, and recover. I was not only able to come back, I was able to win it all.
Yeah.
Definitely good vibes.
That is awesome. Yes, indeed. Well, that's the type of stuff that I want to be involved in. When I set out back in 2007 to live my mission, this is what I envisioned, oh, there we go. Not just myself, but partnering with people, visionaries like yourself and others. So all I have to do, one of my mottos is, I want to point people to solutions, whether I own them or not. Because in this world, we all have the ability to create. And I'm a firm believer that we create our own reality with our thoughts, beliefs, and then our actions. And so I continuously envision the life and the person that I'm becoming. And like I don't know if you've seen the movie. I probably should have asked you this before we got on camera, but have you ever seen the book of Eli?
Yes.
Okay. Perfect example, right? Denzel Washington's character, he just has this mission and he just has it in his mind. He's going to complete the mission. That's how I see myself and what I have built. And I continue to walk towards that person. And I use him as a reference when times get a little tough and, things get a little challenging, but it's by faith that I'm walking towards. And then I meet and life unfolds and people like you fall into this stream of positivity. And I'm just here to express my gratitude for us taking this journey together. So I appreciate you for doing what you do.
And back at you.
Yeah, see, that's so
Absolutely.
fun. That's the fun part of one of my mottos and pillars is, I told you before we got on camera, if it's not fun, I probably won't be showing up at that party.
Yeah. My very first boss, when I was just a young guy coming out of college, said, if you're not having fun, you're either doing the wrong thing or you're doing it the wrong way.
Yes.
I've never forgotten those words, and it's very true.
Yeah, so true. Well, hey guys, we are at 27 minutes. I promised to be around 30 minutes or less because I wanted to, always leave them wanting more. So with that said, what would be one of the things that you would want, if you could push a magic button, Perry, right now, what would you want for the community right where you're at, and then the world at large? What would you want for that?
The community where I live, I presume, and the world at large, honestly, it's for each person to live their full potential and their full God-given potential, right?
Yeah.
Life can be so rich, so flavorful, so rewarding. And I, as a vet, as a 3 times combat decorated vet,
yes,
I've had some pretty rough days. But I think if you live with purpose and you keep cultivating your vision and your mission, and it's anchored in bedrock of faith, everything in life serves a positive purpose, and we can learn from, grow stronger through every situation we're put into. And then the more we unlock our potential, the more it tends to orient us towards helping unlock the potential of others. Right?
Love that.
And I'll tell you, when you ask me about fun, what do I consider fun? All right, I like to have fun on the tennis court, but that's trivial compared to the joy that you get when you help someone else live their better life.
Yeah.
You know that. This is what you're about. And I feel the same way. And I do think the more you unlock your potential, the more you're drawn to help unlock the potential of others. And that creates a cycle of positivity that is just so much more intoxicating than any substance you could ever want, right?
Yes.
Nothing leads to greater peace. Nothing leads to greater joy. Nothing leads to greater energy and enthusiasm for life. And ultimately, it leads to gratitude.
Right.
And I am grateful each and every day for the opportunities I have to help other people be grateful, right?
I love that, man. We got to get together on so many other levels. People in my circle, they always hear me use these 2 words a lot, levels and layers, because I do believe that there are many levels and layers to all of life. So for me and you, I would love the opportunity to talk a little bit more about some synergies that I think we and the world needs at large, because gratitude is one of the big ones. And it took me 17 years of being incarcerated to figure that out. But now, when I say incarcerated, I mean incarceration of the mind. Never set foot in a jail cell, but it's the worst one is being in the mind.
Right.
And so I have to give myself the freedom by forgiveness. So for me, I know that when we do talk, I feel the fun. I can feel the energy right off the bat. So I know there's much more to come. So you guys out there that might be watching on YouTube or Facebook, stay tuned, guys. This is more than just healing, more than just, curing your chronic pain. This is a culture that you're about to step into. And I'm very happy to be a part of it because I'm a big believer in, I'm actually medication free, although the doctors in the white coats want me to be on all these statins. I've chosen to go the opposite route. And I'm going to stick with solutions like this and others. And I want to help expose people to a better way of living as well. So I'm glad to join this good fight with you.
Awesome.
Now, folks, if you're interested, if you want to get into this universe, go to DNAvibe.com, and there's going to be a little square that you can put my name, as you can see here in the instructions, or use my email. That way you can get a little percentage off and try it for yourself. And if you don't like it, just send it back to these guys. And you're hearing it from the horse's mouth right now that we are all about, if it doesn't work, then we'll give you your money back. Let's check in for a comment or two. I think we got that. All right, right on. Sonia says, right on, you two. Good stuff today. I will check out DNA Vibe for Son, who was one of the top runners on a D1 team. Boom.
Come on.
Now, you guys are in the same neighborhood. I believe, Sonia, if I'm correct in my assumption, I believe you're still in California, right? Because I believe you have representation in California, or is it Colorado, just solely based in Colorado?
We do have our chief scientist in San Diego.
Okay, good.
But our manufacturing and headquarters where I am right now is Colorado.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate the time that you set aside to spend with me, and more importantly, the larger community here that might be watching this now or later. Yes, she says yes, still in Northern California. So yes, there's no opportunity but now. And once you get into this, Sonia, I can almost guarantee that you'll be a fan for life. I know I am, and I want you to be as well. We have the same mindset. We want the world to heal and live better. So there's not much more I can say, except we got to do this again.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Yes, stay on board. I'm going to sign off and let these guys get to their living on the highest level, and then we'll have a few parting words and come up with our next time we can do this again. But that is my time, guys. I want to thank you for watching. Thank you for commenting, and more importantly, dropping your comments and letting me know that you are getting ready to step into this universe of healing. I want to remind you guys, as I sign off, there are many solutions out there, and some of them are pretty good. But the question you want to ask yourself is, why be mediocre when you can be excellent? That's my time. Thank you so much for joining us, and I'll see you next time.